All right, folks, I am live, hopefully. I'm still having an issue with getting the live feed to my laptop, so I'm really not sure what's going on. I know the iPhone had a recent update on the settings, which I just did yesterday, and I had a problem with my laptop again, so I'm really not sure if I'm live or not, and I can't see comments to know. So hopefully I am, and something will pop up on my phone that I'm looking at right now. So this is the class I'm going to be working with tonight. Is called Filled with Cheer. And I'm going to periodically refresh my laptop. Nope, it's still not coming up. So if you are live with me, thank you so much. If you're not and something is on the funk again with YouTube, then I will upload this a bit later tonight. But again, we are going to be working with the Filled with Cheer stamp set. And this is not in any catalog. It's in our online exclusives. So what are online exclusives? Well, they're just exclusives, meaning that Stampin' Up puts them out every once in a while, and we get something new every month. So it's really fun and exciting to see that. But then these are while supplies last, so you never know when they're going to sell the last one. So we have stamp sets, bundles, paper, embellishments, ribbons, all that. It's all found on the online exclusive. So this stamp set here is very reasonably priced. It's $20. It's a photopolymer stamp set. And in my class, I will be making 2 cards tonight and 2 cards on Wednesday. So Filled with Cheer will be the stamp set this week. And no bundle, there's no die cutting. I'm going to be using a lot of blends. It's a coloring, kind of a coloring class today. And I don't know, I made some fun, exciting cards. These are also my team's make and takes. So let's take a look at the designer paper I chose for this class. I was looking for something that was rather bright, and I came up with the Take a Bow 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. It's in the mini catalog, September to December. The main colors here are Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, and Real Red, and those are true traditional Christmas colors. The item number is 164309, and it's $12.50, and it's on page 39 of the mini catalog. Now, if you do not have a mini catalog, you don't have an annual catalog, you're not working with a current Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, let me know, send me an email, and I can mail one to you. I will also mail you the spring catalog as well. I've seen it. You guys are gonna die. It is so wonderful. It might be a little bit smaller. However, there's so many different stamp sets and bundles in there that it's going to be really hard for you to choose one or two. You're going to want at least a few more than that. So, and then Celebration, they changed the pricing on Celebration. So in order to earn a free product this year, you'll need to spend $60. And that's for there's a $60 and $120 range. So right now I am just selecting, when I place my pre-orders, I'm selecting just the value of $60 for the free product. And I got my hands on some really, really nice designer series paper, and I'm stockpiling it for a special class. So I hope that you take advantage of that special class when I have it. It'll be probably more towards the end of Celebration. And I'm also going to be eventually in December creating a class with some past Celebration designer series paper, which was very, very popular, and I've had it for a while, so I definitely have a lot of it and I want to share it with you. So make and takes, my team make and takes this month are the cards that you're going to see in front of you. And their team has a choice of purchasing them from me or not. And at least 1 or 2 people for my team do purchase them once or twice a month. And I like making and creating the make and takes for my team. If you're interested in being on our Inspired Daisies team, let me know and I can send you the information. But here's one of the cards. I'm going to be making this one tonight, and I love the lights. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to need to emboss that after I stamp. So I'll have to use my electric die cutting machine because I don't have my other one up here. But we'll be coloring, then embossing with the Snowflake Sky 3D. So that's one of the cards my team will make. And then here's another one. What I do is I create the card, write my instructions, and then I proofread my instructions to make sure they make sense. And then here's another one. And this one is using the wagon. There's a die in, I can't remember what the stamp set bundle is, to cut out the wagon. I don't have it, but I did fussy cut around the wagon and the circles. You can see I was hoping I'd have a punch that would punch those out, so it'd be really perfect, but I don't. But it's okay. It doesn't take you very long to fussy cut those. I did add Wink Estella on the snowman, and I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but it is sparkling. And then also on the little red balls on the tree. Granny Apple Green is the color of the tree. So that's one of them. And I colored Pecan Pie for the wagon, Smoky Slate, Crumb Cake for the sled. And then the next one here is going to be a card that I'll be making on Wednesday. A lot of layers, lots of real red. And on this one here, I colored it a little bit differently than the card you'll be seeing next, but I wanted to incorporate lots of reds and greens. And of course, I added the red Granny Apple Green wagon as well and highlighted the middle of the axle of the wheels in green. The insides are pretty plain. And then here's another one. You can see that they're just fairly similar, but I just changed up the ribbon colors. And this one here, I used Old Olive, and I didn't really like that. So I kept with the Granny Apple Green there. And then the last one here, which we'll make tonight, is Sending Loads of Christmas Cheer. And in the stamp set has the poinsettias and the presents. So that one was super fun to make. I used the deckled rectangles, also the real red and white linen thread. On the inside, I pretty much is basic with a strip of designer paper, and you can see that the thread comes on the inside of the card as well. So that's that one. And then on this one here, same thing, but I changed up, I think, some of the colors. Did I or not? No, I did not. Actually, yes, I did. On this one here, I used Blueberry Bushel and Daffodil Delight. Over here, Blueberry Bushel, Light Daffodil Delight, and Peach Pie for my blends. So anyway, we're going to make 2 cards tonight. Again, we're going to make this one here, and we are going to make this one as well. I'll save these for Wednesday, but at least you got a chance to see what I'll be making on Wednesday. I'm going to try to refresh this laptop and see if no, it still don't come up live, which is the weirdest thing. Let me just manage my videos, and it shows me live and that feed, but it doesn't show me, like, yeah, let me just see if no, it's not doing anything. I don't know. So I'm probably going to be talking to myself, thinking it's alive, but I'll upload this class a little bit later. Okay, so let's get started with the first card. I am going to be, let's see, I'm going to work with this one right here. I just finished designing this one tonight. I actually designed 2 of them today and 2 yesterday. But this one is using quite a few different layers. And we've got a medium basic white envelope. And also we'll need, this is just a strip of basic white. Also, this is a 3x3, and it's the white right here, which will be focal point. And then all these other pieces are just layering pieces. And one other thing is I've already pre-embossed this with the Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. I'm using this one a lot because it's Christmas now and we got a lot of snow and we're supposed to get some a little bit more on, I think it was Thursday. So this right here is a blizzard in my mind. And if you switch it over, wait, no, this is after a blizzard. So it's kind of lightly flowing down now from the sky. But here is, I think this is a blizzard. So there's like heavy amount of snow coming down, which it was on Thanksgiving Day. And then it dissipated. But anyway, that's how I kind of showed the difference on that. I'm going to need a piece of basic white. So let me just go over and grab one. That's going to be for the inside of the card here. Okay, so we're going to stamp in color first, and then we'll assemble. Since we're working with the photopolymer stamps, I need to have my piercing mat, so I've got that here handy. And on the inside, there's no stamping, so I don't have to worry about a message. So I'm going to set this one aside. And then we've got the square, and we're going to be stamping the presents first, and then the sentiment, and then I'll be stamping the wagon and the wheels. So for the presents, I have this mounted, and it's on a big block. It doesn't fit on a D, or at least I didn't try it on a D, because it's very like long horizontally, and I have better pressure if I use this one. And this is an I block, like the letter I, Indian. We're working with Stampin' Blends, of course, so we need to use our Memento Black ink, which is a permanent ink. Stampin' Blends will not bleed on this, but when I ink up a stamp using Memento, I kind of like do this like pat, 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 dancing like this, and then pat, pat, pat again. I want to make sure I get really good lines when I stamp. And also make sure your Memento Black is definitely well inked, not too over inked, but enough so that it's definitely not running out, because you want those detail lines. So I'm just giving it a really good press. Oh yeah, I'm out of breath. No. And there we go. Oh shoot, you know what? I stamped a little too high. So I needed to leave space for the sentiment, and I wasn't really thinking. So guess what? I'm going to flip this over, and you can see me stamp again the correct way. You want to make sure you hit more of the middle of that 3x3 basic white square. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm looking at the left and the right side of the stamp, so you have equal distance, hopefully, and enough room at the top for that sentiment. I don't care about the bottom, because mostly of that's going to be covered with the wagon. Okay, so that's great. Next up is our sentiment, and this one says, sending loads of Christmas cheer. And I'll just tap that again and give it a little dance and tap again. Oh, that's crooked. Oh, well. I'm not having good luck tonight, am I? But anyway, that's okay. We'll go with that. Or should I, you know, I really want to cut a new piece of basic white. So I'm going to do that. I really want to make sure that I cut nice for you guys. Yeah, I mean, stamp nice for you guys, but maybe I should do the sentiment first, because the other one is pretty easy to stamp. And that way, if I make a mistake, I can flip it over on that sentiment again. So let me just hang this on my wall, and we'll try that one more time. All right, sentiment is going to be first, and that's going to be placed right at the top. There we go, much better. And then again, I'm going to take the ink pad to the stamp because I've got more control. And this is much smaller than our regular ink pads. So that's how I do it. I know other people will stamp or ink up their stamp just putting it in the ink, like the stamp into the ink pad, but I don't really have good luck that way. So that's the way I do it. All right, so that's done. So now we need, I'm going to put this one way over there because knowing me, I would probably color it. The wagon, right? Yes. So the wagon is the same thing. And I'm just going to pat it, do a little dance and pat it again. This is on a E block as in Edward. This one I'm going to stamp really close to the edge because we're going to fussy cut this one out. And then lastly, we're going to stamp 2 wheels. Actually, I want to stamp 3, and because I want to see if this will punch out with a 1-inch punch. I haven't tried that, so we'll give it a try. And I'm going to do that right now, just in case it does work. I won't have to fussy cut this one out. Oh yeah, look, it's way too big, so definitely not. I know I have a 1/2-inch punch. So I think this one's, yeah, this one's going to be way too small. It fits the inside rims perfectly, but not the wheel parts. So I will definitely fussy cut that one out. Okay, so now for our coloring, what I have over here in a bin is a bunch of Stampin' Blends. And what I decided for this class is I would use the same colors. And I've got a lot of colors here, but a lot of them I'm using consistently. So for the instance, the wagon here is Granny Apple Green, and the foliage over here is Granny Apple Green, the presents as well. So I'm going to use the dark and light. And what I'm going to do is try to color all of the items that need to be Granny Apple Green first. And I like to start with a dark blend. And I'm going to kind of zoom in there. And I'm going to work again with the wagon first. For the dark one, I'm just kind of doing some lines across where it's a little bit more heavy in the lines. Kind of like this. And then over here. So each one, just here and there, I don't really have any rhyme or reason. I'm just trying to stay within the lines. And then over here, I will color the center of the wheel. Next up is the light. And this one, I'm just going to go over the dark color and also fill in where the white is from the cardstock. So we kind of have 2 different shades of green. Again, I'm using Granny Apple Green. So see if you can see that it's a little bit darker at the top where it's lighter in the middle. So I'm going to continue to color all the way across. And this is on a replay. You can just fast forward this if you don't want to watch me color. I'm not doing a lot of shading with the wagon. I feel like there's really no shade on it. So we'll just color in, fill in the white, and let those lines work itself. And then the last section over here. Just going to color over here. It's just a little bit too light for me. Okay, so that is the wagon. Now I'm going to switch over to the focal point of the presents. And I like coloring in the foliage first. Well, usually I go with the red, the poinsettia, but I'm using, wait, am I using dark? No, I'm using light, aren't I? I got to switch over. to the dark. I like the most of it dark and then highlighted with a light side of Granny Apple Green. Now this class is my make and take for my team for December's meeting, which is next week. But I'm also going to make this my class for December, the first part of December, using my host code. So if you place an order of $35 or more, you will receive 4 card kits, one of each of the designs that I'm working on. And then if you bump your order up to $50, I will include some kind of embellishments. Now the embellishments I'm using now, the real red and white peppermint dots, they have been so popular that they're again on back order. And I think if I remember right, they're not going to be coming in until the end of December. So I will be using something else. So don't count on the peppermints because I don't have enough in my stock. And I actually need them for a class, my Christmas card class this weekend I'm having locally. So if you're local to me and you would like to join my class, there's still room. It's through the Hartford Parks and Recreation Department. And you can go online, hartfordrec.com, and select programs and then find holiday card making. And it's a $35 class and it's product based. So you're going to receive some designer paper, some embellishments, which will be the peppermint dots because I've got them for that class. And some of the like Baker's Twine I'm going to be using for one of the cards that I'll be making today. I'm just going to fill in where I can see some white. I'm going to probably go back to that once I get the red in. So now the presents, I'm going to color the middle of this bow in a dark shade. And then this one here is also a dark shade, which is up here. And then we'll go around the bow very carefully. And then we'll fill in this part of the present. And then down here, there's a little part of it. And also over here, there's more. And now let me switch over to the dark. The light. And we're gonna color this on a lighter shade of Granny Apple Green. I'm gonna go back and darken that so you can really tell. But there's also part of the present over here. And I think it's kind of confusing me because I think this is over here, part of the present. It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it is because it would come down this way. I'm not really sure. It's a little confusing. So it could be white, it could be green. I'm going to color it green. And then let me grab my dark again so I can make this strip here darker. And then I'm going to just quickly go over this one here with a second layer of the Granny Apple Green. So now you'll really be able to tell a difference in these shades of greens. Okay, so that one's done. Now we're going to switch over to this one over here. This is also green. And I'm working with the colors that are in the designer paper, Take a Bow. It's kind of a funny name for designer paper, Take a Bow, but there's a die that you can create bows with, and they I don't have it, but it looks like you can make perfect bows with it. All right, I think that's good. Now, one last part here is this is going to be striped wrapping paper. So we've got the real red and Granny Apple Green. And I'll use dark shades of both. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to switch over to reds. Now my dark red is dried up, so I have one on order. So I pulled out Dark Poppy Parade, and I feel like this works really nicely. So right now I'm just going to full color in the leaf parts of the poinsettia. And I just colored over the center, unfortunately. It's such a small little dot. It's really kind of hard to see, especially if you have the old eyes like I do. You can see some white spot here. I'm going to go back in with my greens to fill in where I missed. It's looking more like Christmas plants. Now this area over here, I feel like it's a poinsettia leaf too. And then over here too. It's like some of the plants you can see and some you can barely see. They're different layers of plants here in the leaves. Okay, that's done. And now we're going to switch over to this one here. This Poppy Parade is really juicy, meaning I haven't used it. I think it's a brand new one actually. So it's can bleed into or past the lines, unfortunately. All right, and now the bow over here is going to be in Poppy Parade as well. Okay, over here, we're going to color in this bow here. I think somebody just sent me a text saying, "Where are you, Karen? Live is not working." Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'm live and I just can't see comments. So if you are commenting, that's why I can't see. I'll have to look into it on Google it or something on the internet to see if there was an update that I'm not aware of, because this is the second time it's happened to me when I went live. So I went live yesterday on the fly with my kitten club sale, and I thought I was live for 58 minutes and I wasn't. I went back to see, and there was no like upload button, because usually you can finish it and upload it all at the same time, and that wasn't there. So I'm like, oh great, I just did an entire class or my kit sale and it didn't take. But I was able to upload it after the fact, which, you know, I don't know. Technology sometimes really is not, doesn't work with you very, you know, sometimes. So you're just gonna have to bear with my mistakes or their mistakes or what have you. All right, this bow here is going to be light Granny Apple Green on the outside here on the bow part. And the center I've already colored with a dark shade of Granny Apple Green. So for these images, I'm using lots of greens and reds. Now, the pots, I'm going to use Pebbled Path for the darker lines, meaning this up here. There's like a little section. And then over here, there's a section too. And I can see where, now I can see even more where I need to go back and add green. And then I'm going to take Crumb Cake, which is a light shade of brown, and let me just see if I've got my darker one. That will work probably better. Even though you're not going to see this part of the pot very much, you still should color it in. And I'm going to color this one over here the same way. Okay, let's fill in with the green. And I'm going to use the lighter shade. And then I've got to add in the yellow for the center of the poinsettias. And for that, I'm using the darkest shade of Daffodil Delight. It's really going to be hard to see, but knowing that I did do that makes it feel like I completed it. So, all right, so that is your focal point image. And now let's finish up the wagon. For the wagon, I used Smoky Slate because I thought that was supposed to be metal. On here is, this is where the Smoky Slate is going to go. And then the kind of the uprights, that is going to be Pebbled Path. I wanted to make it a little bit different than what I'm coloring in right now, this section. All right, let me switch over to the darkest shade of Pebbled Path. Okay, now the wheels. Now I don't, for the wheels, we do not have black in the Stampin' Blends, but did you know that we have black in the Stampin' Write marker? It's got a fine tip point and a brush tip point. So I like to use the fine tip on the spokes, and on the wheel, I'm going to use, and I'm probably colored off camera that whole time. I didn't even look. If I did, then I'm going to redo this card, and I'll make it more of a pre-recorded video than a live version. And I'm only going to color in 2 of these. This is really super juicy too, so that's why I'm kind of taking my time and trying to stay within the lines. Using the fine tip point on that, the wheel portion, it would be so hard to color in. It works great on the little spokes here, but not on the tire itself. Okay, so everything is colored in, and now return these to my bucket so I've got some space, and I'm going to zoom out. And I've got to fussy cut these 2 out, so I'll try to go as fast as I can. And that way I can do a better job. Well, I won't be so long, but I want to make sure I do a pretty good job. But all you want to do is just get a little, like a 1/16 of an inch white border around. Now there is a die for this wagon. Again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I don't have it. So thus that's why I am fussy cutting it out. This one's kind of almost a straight shot, but for those little support bars, You just gotta go up just a little bit and curve around and then come back down. And I'm gonna go straight off and then curve this side here. All right, so that is the wagon. I'll save this because I can stamp on that. And now the wheels. I thought I had a 7/8 of an inch punch, and I think that would actually work. But unfortunately, if we did, it's retired, and I must have put it somewhere else in my craft room. But I still use my circle punches a lot. I feel it does save a lot of time for me. Now this stamp set here would be great for craft fair chocolates, the mini chocolates that you can decorate with designer paper, put in a package like a cello bag, a pretzel bag, and put a nice little topper on it. I like the sending loads of Christmas cheer sentiment on it. That would be really good. All of them. So to you and yours, a warm hello and sending loads of Christmas cheer all work really nicely for craft fair items. Okay, we are on to the next step. So we are going to turn these over, and with the card, we're going to pop these up. So I'm just going to prep them, and we'll add 1 to each of the wheels, and then 3 to the wagon. So 1 on the outside, or 2 on the outsides, and 1 in the middle. So those are all ready to go. Now we're going to assemble all of the layers. All right, so we've got Real Red and we've got Take a Bow. And I'm just going to use the foliage side on the bigger portion of this one of the panels. Let's use my Stampin' Seal. And then this is 2 by 5. And the Real Red is 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's how these go together. And then next up is this strip here, 1 inch by 3. And then this one is 7/8 by, no, this is 3 1/4. And that's 1 inch across. This is 7/8 of an inch, and then 3 inches. So I'm going to take my seal. This one's going to be adhered a little bit differently. Oh shoot, I was supposed to stamp or put the adhesive on that the stripe side, darn it, but oh well. You can see how, oh, and another thing is I need to line up edge to edge over here, because that's going to line up against the other strip. So it's going to look like this when we're said and done. Okay, so those two go together. This strip here goes on your basic white on the inside. Choose which side you want to use. I'm going to use the diagonal side. And it's going to go onto a 4 by 5 1/4 basic white panel. Okay, now the front side, let's actually just adhere this one on the inside, and then we'll work on the front side of the card. And I just noticed here that I've got a little bit excess, so we'll just trim that off with our paper snips. Oh, I didn't stamp the back side of my card, so let me do that really quickly. That's tone on tone, so Real Red with Real Red cardstock. All right, so now we're going to adhere the Snowflake Sky 3D panel that is cut 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm just going to add my seal. Somehow it's stringy. I don't know why. And it's a blizzard. So I got the heavier side of the snow at the top. Okay, your next panel, this is super easy once you get it all colored in because it goes together so quickly. You don't really even need to think about it. This piece here, it's non-directional, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to adhere it to the top and the bottom edge there, so it's all edge to edge. Give it a good press. And now we're going to adhere this one. And once we're said and done, we can put these side by side so you can see this diagonal stripes versus the foliage. I'm just eyeballing this, the distance here. Whoops, it moved on me. All right, so that edge now is together with this panel here. All right, now we get to adhere our focal point image to the real red square, which this is 3 by 3, and this is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I notice I have ink on my fingers, so hopefully, I think it's dry by now, but it doesn't look good. That's it. Okay, so now I want to drop this down because I don't want to put it over here because that's going to look too funky. But I want it on the edge of this front, and I want a little bit of white showing here and kind of like stairs over here. Let's look at it just to make sure everything looks straight. And once it is, I'm going to flip this over and rub from the inside of the card. Okay, next up is the inside, which I never even put in there. I was so excited to decorate the front of the card. All right, so now we have the wagon. So let's just press those. Let me grab my embellishment, my piercing tool. Oops, there goes something off my desk. Now I'm going to aim this up, so it's going to be covering partial of the plants and pots right there, but I also want to make sure that I have a little bit of white showing over here and over here. Now we'll work on the wheels. These are just going to go right here, and then this one here. I got a little bit too far down on the stamping, and I'll show you them in just a second and show you what I mean on that. See here, there's really no white. And over here, there's white. And this is what you want to have happen. So make sure you stamp this up pretty high. And then this one needs to be most likely about 1/4 inch from the Christmas cheer. Let's add those peppermints. Probably the all-time favorite of our winter catalog, holiday catalog. There's 3 different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the largest one here because I've got a lot more white space now. I'll take a medium one and add it over here. And then a small one, and I'll just put it up over here. Okay, let's clear up my work area and we can see these side by side. So here's the one with the red diagonal stripes. This is basically the same thing. And you can see where there's white here and where there's really no white over here. I most definitely like it this way. This one just looks like it's totally falling off the paper. So anyway, you can jazz this up with Wink Estella if you would like. It's totally up to you. And here's that sample card. Okay, we're going to move on to our next card. And let me bring that in. It's going to be this one, Sending Loads of Christmas Cheer. No fussy cutting in this one. So the hardest thing probably is just wrapping around the twine there. So I've got two different ones. They're pretty much the same. I used a different coloring with pumpkin pie and peach pie for this one. The envelope I stamped. All right, so let me grab my piercing mat once again. And this is the deckled circle. This is our basic white thick. And let me just see how I stamped in the inside. I didn't stamp anything, so that will save some time. Let's see, we got our Memento black ink. I had to think a minute what I'm doing. And then I'm going to, again, stamp up the presents. Wednesday, you'll get to see the fun snowman. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun coloring in and using that snowman stamp. Make sure you stamp this one up high enough and you'll have room for your sentiment. And then this one here will get inked up in the Memento black as well. And let me take my basic white thick and I'm going to add, I'll use real red since my stamp is already in real red. All right, let's work on our focal point. Again, we're working with Stampin' Lens. Also, make sure you have scrap paper underneath your work surface because as you probably saw when I flipped it over, you could see the ink colors coming through. Again, I'm going to work with the poinsettia first, and this time I'm going to color in the flower itself. And this one here, I'm using Dark Poppy Parade. If you made it this far in the video, just remind you, this is my free card class offering for December, now until December 14th. You'll need to use my host code, which I haven't gotten yet, but I will be when I upload this, and it will be in the description box. So a $35 order, you will get to receive 4 card kits, one of each of the ones I'm making, and you'll need to use my host code. So make sure you use the host code because that's the only way I know you are interested in obtaining the card class. And then a $50 order will get you the 4 kits plus an embellishment. And I really don't know what embellishment I will be sending because it can't be the peppermints because they won't be coming in for a while and it'll be past Christmas. So it will be something else. And it will be something that will work with this card kit as well. I like this time of year, I really like the rhinestone basic jewels because you can color those in with Stampin' Blends. So your Christmas cards can look really nice coordinating because you can color in those rhinestones. So if I wanted rhinestones on here, I could choose Real or Poppy Parade and color those in. And that would coordinate really nicely with my colors. All right, so that one's all done. I'm going to stick with the Real Red or Poppy Parade, and I'm going to color in this bow here. And then I think that is it. Okay, and then let's see what color comes up Let's go with the Granny Apple Green, and I'll start with dark. I'm just tapping to fill in the foliage because it is kind of a small area, and I don't really care about any kind of shading. And now I'm going to go back in and fill in the white areas that I did not hit with the dark Granny Apple Green. This one's squeaking. Okay, so that's looking good. I've got the light again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the bow with the light shade. And now the tails. I think that's all. We might go back to it. All right, so let's see what other, oh wait, no, I need light for the humongous gift here. It's a big one, big box. Yeah, I just had a thought, was I supposed to do light or was it supposed to be dark? But it is light. Okay, now we're going to fill in with the dark. All right, so that one's good. Let's throw in some Blueberry Bushel. We have not used that color yet. And that is going to be the bow. And I'm going to use the dark shade for the Stampin' Blends. I want this one to pop. Okay, it's gonna pop once I get the present colored in. So now we're gonna switch over to Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Peach Pie. So for the dark Daffodil Delight, I'm gonna go over to the poinsettias and color in the center. And also the stripes. Now that's going to be Peach Pie. So let me get the darker. I think it's supposed to be Peach Pie. If not, then I'll switch it up. And it doesn't look like it. It probably should have been the lighter shade. But I wasn't sure what colors to use, so I got my color wheel out, and it showed that Blueberry Bushel goes with Peach Pie. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And since I'm going to use the dark, and now I'm going to go, oh, it's going to look kind of funny. I should have used the yellow, but I thought this would be kind of lighter than what it is. So I'm going to fix it. I'm going to color it in over the dark peach pie with pumpkin pie and see if we can get that lighter shade to pop a little bit more. And you might have to go over it 3 times. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Now, this one here, I'm still going to go with the pumpkin pie. And I just noticed I need to color that red ribbon coming down the present. So don't forget about looking at our online exclusive section, because there's a lot of new stuff coming out. And it may, by the time you see this video, you may have already seen some of the new online exclusives. All right, so that one's done. And now the Poppy Parade. Finish this. I guess it doesn't look too bad after all. Just struggling. I think that area, there's a little white there. Don't you think this needs like to be filled in? Looks just odd. And I want to say that needs to be filled in too, because you're going to see that package. And I have, yeah, I guess I have been filling it in on the other ones. Oh, well, let's go with the peach pie bow. And I'm going to use the darker shade over here, just where those lines are. And then I'm going to use the lighter shade. And now we will create the pots, color those in. I'm going to use pecan pie. I like how this is covering up where the colors bled into the white from the peach pie. And then over here, and now I'm going to take crumb cake. I think I'm going to use the darker shade of crumb cake because my lighter shade is almost done. This is just going to be a slightly different color. And I've got to go back in and hit those areas with the green. Also, I'm going to go over this one too to see if I can get this section of that planter to look a little bit darker than the top part there, which it is looking better. And we'll just finish coloring in the green areas here. Sometimes it's very hard to see all the foliage until you actually get other things colored in. Okay, I think I've got it done, you guys. Now we're going to assemble this beautiful card. Let me just clean up my area here. This one's going to need Stampin' Dimensionals on it, so I'm going to add those right now. And you can see where you need scrap paper underneath your work surface, because you can see all the coloring does bleed through. So we got 4 around the edges and 1 in the middle. I'll just put that over to the side. And then we're going to take our basic white, thick, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I've got 2 pieces here. I'm not sure what the size is, but it's all the way to the edge. I have never created a card covering the whole front of the card with designer paper. I've always left a little edge there. So I decided I would try it this time. I actually really like it on the cards that are white. So I'll show you in just a second what I mean. Let me just add my seal. And then sometimes it's easier if you just open up the card so you can see the edge. I'm just going to, looking up here, and then my eyes will come over. There we go. So now it's edge to edge. There's a little bit of white showing, but you can take your paper trimmer to trim down maybe like a 1/16 of an inch if you really want to worry about that. And now this one here is a little bit longer or wider. You can see by like 1/4 of an inch. And that's because in case I cut this one short, this can overlap and I would not have any space on that seam, I believe. Yes. All right. So let me just show you what I mean by that. Oops. Oh gosh, I need to zoom out a little bit. I like the polka dots. So, all right, so now again, whoa, that one is flying. I'm gonna look up here at that corner and I'm gonna add that corner there, then go down all the way. Oh, this one is shorter. So I'm gonna have to use my paper trimmer to trim this down. Okay, so now it overlapped about maybe a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch, but can you see how much white is over there? Let me just take my paper trimmer and I can show you how to cut down your edges. So what I do is I just open up the card, slide this in. I'm looking at the track there and it's just going to go over just a little bit. You also want to make sure you have a sharp blade when you do this because you're going through multiple layers. And that cleans that side up. And also I'm going to try this again. It also straightens up your card as well. And that's as simple as it can be. Do you notice why I have this little string on my trimmer? It's because I'm having a hard time with it right now. I hang it on my wall on a hook. So I always know where my trimmers are. Okay, next up is this piece here. So we're just going to randomly put it. I thought that was too busy, but we can look and see. You know, I'm going to try it. Let's have this one's diagonal stripes and that one's got the polka dots, and we'll see what side we like better. It gives you a different option. So I'm just going to come over about 1.5 inches or so, wrist random. And it's up and down. And this is over the edge ever so slightly, but it's really easy to trim down with your paper snips. And we'll move the back, or actually, I'm going to prep this because I just got to bring my thread, wrap my thread around. All right, now to do that, I'm right-handed and I want the bow over here. So I'm going to open up the card and I'm going to extend out about 4 inches. I'm going to wrap around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And then trim off the edge there. Now I'm going to make the card so it's looking like the correct way it should be. Grab the other one in the back. Oh boy, this is going to be really close to being able to tie a bow, but I'll struggle, I'm sure. I'm going to take this one and wrap it around all of them. And I'm going to tie a knot over here. So I'm going to press with my middle finger and then thread that through to tie a knot. And then I need to make a really small bow. Okay, let me trim down this tail, it's too long. If you want this to stay put, I'll show you how to put a mini glue dot in. So right now I'm just making sure all 3 of those are along that seam. I'll take a mini glue dot and take your pick, and I'm going to take that off and just roll it up. Lift up the bow, push in the mini glue dot, press down, and release. Now that will stay there, and it's actually going to secure that together so it doesn't come apart. And then on the inside, oops, got a backing of a dimensional, you can still see the thread. We're almost done, you guys. All right, so now we're just going to center this one on. And what I'm looking at is the distance between this and this. I actually love the diagonals. This piece here is just 3/4 of an inch tall by too much. So I'm going to take my seal and just run it along here and add this down. And then I'll simply trim it off. There, we are all set except for those peppermints. So let's grab 3 and I'm going to put them like I did the other one. Oops, wrong side. I'm going to put them all over here because if I put them over here, I think it's going to just be distracting, and it doesn't, they kind of blend into the dots. So if you put them over here on something solid, they're going to pop a little bit more. So just create your triangle like that. Oops. There. Okay, so let's put these side by side so you can see the 2 different card designs and choose what you like. Do you like the red? Do you like the diagonal? It's totally up to you. This one was a smaller strip. I just used a scrap, but this is the same size. So we'll compare these 2. All right, so that is card 1 and card 2 of your class using the Filled with Cheer stamp set, which looks like this, and it's in our online exclusives. It's only $20, great for holiday. And also take a bow 6x6 designer series paper, which you can find in the mini catalog, or you can just type in 164309 and it will come up, and it's in the mini catalog September to December. So we're almost through that catalog, and we're going to be going over into the spring mini catalog very, very soon. So I'm excited about that. A lot of good things coming to you. Again, if you want to earn this class for free, you can spend $25 on my online store, or $35 on my online store with my host code, which will be in the description box. And $35 in product will get you 4 kits, 1 of each design, and 2 I'll be doing on Wednesday. And then an order of $50 will still get you the 4 kits and an embellishment that I will have in my craft room for you. All right, all of that's inspired by Graham.com. Thanks for watching. And if this is live, thanks for watching with me.